Hello, welcome everyone, welcome everybody to the Thursday AM session. I'm currently watching at the ES and doing some annotations here on 5-minute chart. So generally I'm watching the relative equal lows right now, and I would like to see a run into those with current price action and current structure that makes the most sense. We do have also sell side liquidity here below this Asian low, basically. And the consecutive encroachment. Hello Candy, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing great. So yeah, the last line in the sand in here is the consecutive encroachment here on this week. We already traded into it perfectly there. Then price came all the way up, but couldn't even close outside of this inefficiency. So I'm suspecting that it could work as inversion here. That's what I would like to see with current price action, but 930 can always disturb whatever is in motion here. So besides that, the buy side liquidity is here. The old high. Old low. And with this I should have everything annotated here that has any meaning. So let's see if we can see the relative equal lows being attacked here, and if yes, if we can see any further continuation towards the sell side here or here. Right, so I'll be clearing this a little bit up. Good afternoon, Mr. Anastellini. All right, 930 we opened, so this is a wild card here. So far tapped into the consecutive encroachment of this week as premium perfectly, and into this fair value gap also respected perfectly so far. Let's see if it stays like this. The last line of defense would be this inversion fair value gap here. If price goes above this, then the old high should be a factor. But yeah, giving it the opportunity to prove itself right now. So we closed yesterday around here, opened here, so small little discount opening range gap here. So 50% would be around the low of the inversion fair value gap here. Okay, let's see if it can close above this bearish fair value gap here, and whether it can be able to reach to this inversion fair value gap here. That's a volume imbalance and an efficiency here. Alright, so far we are trying to run away from the jagged lows in here, even though they left pretty clean relative equal lows down there. We are trying to run away. Wicks went above it, but the bodies are so far staying inside of the inefficiency. So I'm really waiting for the close on this candle here, and we'll be seeing what's going on there. Alright, still around 15 seconds to close the first candle. So far it only tapped the short-term high, buy some liquidity. It went above the fair value gap here, but couldn't held it, and it's closing all the way below it. So this is pretty bearish in my mind right now, unless it's changed. It will change unless it will overtake it to the upside on a closing basis. That could be leaning well with potential continuation lower. But again, now we have this week, premium week, and that will be like the quick feedback for the price action here, because if price smashes through and closes above this week, then it will cancel out any bearishness here, and probably we will see some higher prices. But if we trade to this week here and fail and close way lower, then that would be again pretty in line with potential run on the sell side here. But yeah, so far the wick is being overtaken to the upside, so that cancels out my bearishness by a bit, and my attention is switching right now more towards the old high here and here, and I'll be paying close attention to this inversion fair value gap. I do not have any higher time frame bias for this asset here for today, so I'm completely neutral. I believe it could go either higher and lower. Both sides are being possible for a run on liquidity. Because we since London, since midnight, we were mostly running higher. I suspect that the sell side that's being built up here is quite juicy to be attacked, but still, let's see how we go about it, because so far we are cancelling out a little bit the bearishness, but let's see how this candle will actually close. Okay, so we are approaching the inversion fair value gap here, and that's the last line of defense in my opinion. So if it's going to be bullish, it should have no problem in here to run right on through it. Plus we'll be closing above this, so this should now act as a bullish inversion fair value gap in that case. Also with this week and this week, so a lot of overlapping PD arrays in this little area here that should lend support to provide a run on this buy side here at 806, 8011. No, not 0, but 11. There was also a technically immediate rebalance in here this week, so that's a signature that really should offer speed and continuation. The next candle here or the next up after it, so that will be also a great tool to measure the order flow here. So it should have no issues going through the upper half in here if it's bullish. very balanced out on the 1 minute here, this whole run up. No inefficiencies really, but it's climbing higher. Now the sell side looks very suspect, very suspect. So I'm kinda allowing it to run higher here if it wants to take out the buy side, but still keeping in mind that at some point we could turn around and run for the relative equal lows. Today is Thursday also, and the general characteristic of Thursday's trading is reversal. So Thursday is a likely reversal day by nature. Rather than continuation. It could be continuation too sometimes, but in this case reversal would land very well. So taking out the buy side there and then turning back for the relative equal lows sounds good for me. But yeah, nice immediate rebalance in here. Price already started running into the upper half of this inversion fair value gap, so that's already showing potential for continuation here, and I would expect price to just quickly march towards the buy side, I guess. So yeah, with this price action in here, with this data, nothing in here is really like bearish, okay, until something changes. So if that stays true, then it should be quickly marching towards the buy side, as there is nothing else to be concerned about. Okay, so let's see if we can get like a quick poke above it. So this short-term high, and because this old high is like very close in proximity, it should quickly just snap above it. That's what I would like to see, and that might be an area for a potential reversal into the remaining portion of the morning session. So we'll see how it goes. So yeah, the 745 BSC worked or respected with the bodies here. Wicks were doing the damage. Then price was able to close above this inefficiency here. Immediate rebalance. Price runs away, and the next candle should be attacking the buy side liquidity rather easily. So that's 6 handles, 10 handles, yes, around that. Yeah, I like how it's picking up the speed here to approach the high. The short-term high already taken out. So poking to it and through it would be ideal. And just a little bit more, and with that we'll be having all the buy side here cleared out for the or on the intraday sake. And let's see if we could see a potential reversal happening there afterwards, because due to the fact that we are inside of a larger consolidation currently, a couple days, and it's Thursday, and we haven't had like a solid run on sell side, in my opinion, yet. Therefore, I would suspect a potential turn after we run the buy side, right? So far the initial high was being swept, but I'm still looking for a deeper purge and ideally run above the old high here. So we'll see how it goes. The immediate rebalance should be giving some speed to the equation here. The fact that the body stopped at the consecutive encroachment here, that's telling me some premium sensitivity around this PD array. So if I see this and then a run on the buy side, that makes me more up to thinking that it's stop rate only, a turtle soup, more than a continuation. So nonetheless, this should now be used as the original function here. I'll check the Nasdaq. Nasdaq made a higher high too. Dow Jones slightly, but living on a different planet. Nonetheless, now this now having this immediate rebalance in here is kind of crucial, I would say, because if price is not able to really like make a solid run after immediate rebalance like this, then kind of like invalidating it would be equal to a market structure shift in my mind and potential run on the other direction. But yet we wicked lower here to the immediate rebalance, basically, or almost to it. Now reclaiming all the way up this range, and still I would expect to see this old high being at least approached to be taken out, right? That would make most sense. Also, I would like to note the fact that we had very little price action below the midnight opening price, and we moved higher. So that's kinda suspect to me too. So far the reaction here looks kinda bearish. How we swept this high only by a week, and the bodies respected the consecutive encroachment very well. We still have the immediate rebalance here as the line in the sand, but not gonna lie that it looks kinda suspect in here. It could be a fake run and into a reversal here. That's kinda how it feels to me. So let me annotate the consecutive encroachment on this week here, and that's like the near-term line in the sand. So also taking the fact that we had this immediate rebalance here prior running out liquidity here into premium, if this would have been to fail, which I'm not sure for now, but I'm suspecting that it could, then we could see some measure of like climax reversal where it goes really quickly the other direction. But again, that consecutive encroachment is like a line in the sand right now. No close below it maintains potential continuation. So I don't want to go too ahead of myself in here. On the 1 minute chart it looks kinda suspect. Like literally this discount week would be like the last line of defense here. But it doesn't look like it's going to hold at all. So yeah, I'm suspecting we made a turn in here. Slightly more. Okay, it's kind of dancing around the consecutive encroachment here, but already looking kind of weak. Okay, so it closed below the consecutive encroachment and the inversion fair value gap. So I'm assuming speed might be involved in here very, very soon. I wouldn't be surprised. This was like one more run. The buy side, 3 people on the wrong side. And with that, we could be seeing a potential run on the sell side instead. Like quick, very quick and sudden run. That's something I would expect at least. So this immediate rebalance already dusted here, already traded through. So it's kind of like cancelled out. And the only thing that it did, it was taking out the buy side here. So with that said, I'm expecting it to lose the ground here, like very quickly. This should not offer any sensitivity in the upper half, preferably. So the easiest, the most obvious sell-side liquidity is here at 7,133 and a half, more or less. That's the easiest sell-side liquidity that I would expect it to potentially run for. This fair value gap in here on 1 minute, I like to see it sell off. So this is like the line in the sand here. It came quite aggressively and quite a lot, with quite a lot of range, with this week on 5 minute. But yet I will add here and trust that this was a fake run on this high and reversal into a run on the sell side here. Also this weak consecutive encroachment here that was touched there. So this kind of makes sense here for me. But now this 5 minute discount week needs to be quickly erased. Right there. Okay, so that's kind of like this make or break point in here. A premium week, a low of this inversion after failed immediate rebalance here should offer premium sensitivity and take it lower. So the sell side here is still very, very obvious, and it's kind of like left. No sell side was taken. So as long as no close above the consecutive encroachment here, should be fine. Okay, now we are working on the discount week here. I might take this off because it's kinda too clutch, and just leave those weeks, this and this. So both should or need to be closed below as soon as possible. Otherwise it's against what I'm trying to do. Welcome Money Glitch, hello. Long time no see, my friend. So far it's trying to work both sides. Let's see. So far the lower half of this inversion holds, and the weak consecutive encroachment is also holding the as a barrier. No close above it is really important. So 30 more seconds, we'll see how it goes. Okay, no close above it yet. It went close to it, but not close above it. So let's see if we can manage a rejection from where it is. If it trades higher here and stops me out, then I'm wrong on the idea here. But in my opinion, if everything is there, we should be seeing some speed and really like a very large candles to the downside, especially after we already traded to this as premium. So now this next candle, I'm really looking forward to see expansion on the downside. All right, let's see. So far it's kind of like not violating into the upside, but it's also not really offering much confirmation on the downside either. I really want to see some closing prices below those weeks in here, this one and this one specifically. Okay, touching to the low and to the consecutive encroachment of that week again. 1 minute until the candle closes. And yeah, only no close above that consecutive encroachment makes this idea still viable in my mind. But again, it's 10:14. Taking into consideration what we've done already, I would say it's about time to start seeing some expansion here on the downside. If they trapped people on the breakout above this short-term high here and hoping for the old high here for the buy side, that's about time to drag them all the way down below those relatively cool lows. Alright, so now it's making a touch to the consecutive encroachment of that inversion fair value gap, and this is kind of like the make or break point. If this doesn't hold price, then I'm likely to get stopped out, and it's already screaming against me here. So either that's the last hit that I'm taking and it's gonna reject, or I'm just wrong and it will go actually higher. So it stopped me out here, and now I will just watch and see whether they actually will want to go for that old high. Me personally, I don't like the structure for being a long here. Nothing in here I like for being a buyer and trusting that it's gonna go higher. But yeah. We'll see how this candle will close actually, still. Would be interesting if it were to do this moho above the inversion and then still like close below this consecutive encroachment. But then I would watch for the lower discount consecutive encroachment to be violated and then used potentially as resistance before maybe going lower. So far a pretty strong rejection here. So I would like to see that, but nonetheless maybe I was too close to the high with my stop because yeah. Let's see still. But this type of rejection, that's promising. That's very promising to see a run lower. But after we've done something like this with this moho above it, it really would need to start dropping the next candle, I believe. If it overtakes this week on a closing basis, then I'm on hold for now. Yeah, NQ clearly a weaker one here, that's true. Also very smooth relative equal lows there. I would expect NQ start really losing ground here, by the way. He is refusing to follow on the downside too much, or trying to refuse. It will be a little bit clutch in here, but I would like to add this consecutive encroachment too on this week. On 1 minute. Sell side. YM going up means decoupling. Yeah, so this already is kind of ugly, not gonna lie. It truly looks kind of ugly. I like the Wednesday's opening range gap also. as a discount draw on price, smooth lows on the regular trading hours, but the price is just not having it here on ES. I wouldn't be surprised if it would rally up for the high at this point. Yeah, pretty ugly. Right, strong push through this week cancels any bearishness near term and resumes the old high as potential draw, in my opinion. So the buy side is now here above this high, and the old high up there. That's what I'm watching right now. If we can push up there from here, that's what it's suggesting with all of the price action here. If it would fail here, very suspect, but sticking with that right now for a moment. 1 minute is very efficient since the 9:30. No real imbalance or anything like that. So really high resistance, difficult grind in here on the upside, but yet it's pushing higher, and yet it has the buy side still to potentially be cleared out, but very difficult to trust this price run in here, because looking at it like this, where in here price would or could retrace to for a run higher, right? You would say maybe this is your bullish order block, but not really. Very smooth, relatively close with the trend line phantom. And it's already kind of struggling in here. So a key moment And the key PD array, the key line in the sand, I would say would be the 10 a.m. CB here on the 1 minute, and basically going into a lower half of this or below it even would indicate that it's likely to go lower then. So this is where the sell side resides here, and again that's like a line in the sand in my opinion. But with the YM going higher, it might have no choice to just go higher too. So slowly grinding the higher highs, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high here. So a lot of buy side being taken, while sell side is all being spurred and left alone. So building up a large pool of sell side liquidity, that's for certain. That's what they are doing right now, and likely going to take it above this high and that alt high. That's right above it at this point, and then that would be like the probably last chance for the morning session to maybe see a turnaround. But very slow, drawn out run on the upside here. There is this busy here, but it's very hard to trust this one after so many runs on the buy sell liquidity like this. Yet it couldn't even reach the consecutive encroachment. On that week. So this could be area of like make or break, right? So it either smashes right on through it and it should do it quickly, or it shows weakness and starts turning around and then attacks the sell side here. That's like, however I will like annotate it, it's like very smooth. Either classic diagonal support resistance or the trend line liquidity too. Yeah, looking at the Nasdaq sell side liquidity here, way too smooth. I'm watching this breaker right here. There we go. ES eventually showed weakness, couldn't even reach the consecutive encroachment, and now broke below this BC. I mean, closed it completely, so that's not a bullish sign at all. So I'm watching for this to be inversed, same as I'm watching for this SIBI here to be used as potential reclaimed bearish fair value gap, right? The body is still respecting this BC, which is interesting nonetheless. But yeah, it's too deep in a premium inside of this high to this low for me to look as a buy, and already it proved that it had very difficult time going higher. So yeah, but it would need first to go below this inefficiency here on a closing basis, and then going below this would be like the final confirmation that we should see a run on the sell side liquidity. So far very reserved as it is. There is a small little inefficiency right there. I'm making a notation of that. So I like how price reacted off of this little fair value gap here. I'm still assuming and anticipating that this will turn into a bearish inversion fair value gap. But let's see. Alright, so that's not what I want to see. I close it here. Yikes, really ugly price action though, really ugly. Nasdaq also a part of a larger consolidation here. The breaker initially moved price lower, but it already came back to it. That's not ideal. It would need to reject that quickly here after this short-term high taken and then to the downside, but hard to expect too much, I guess. Okay, it closed above the consecutive encroachment, so it should run the buy side after all of this painful run up, and it will do that into the 1050 to 1110 macro. Which could be a early start to the launch macro also, and taking the fact that since 9:30 price basically moved higher, the low, the most obvious low after 10 a.m. is here, so launch macro sell side liquidity would be resting right there, and because it's relatively equal with all of this, it could even see a deeper punch there. Super high resistance, omega ultra high resistance liquidity run, but looks like we might be getting the buy side here, old high into the 1050 macro. So in my opinion, last chance for a potential reversal. And it's pretty much done. Still denying the buy side, even though it came so close to it, it's still denying it. Yeah, today's price action is really funky. Really not nice to do anything with it, I guess. I still think the sell side makes sense. I still think it's reasonable. Maybe later today even. Maybe PM session type of idea. If it's possible. But yeah, the morning was really ugly. Still not taking the buy side here. Still denying it. Okay, there we go. Finally 10:50, 11:10 macro. We are trading into today's high buy side liquidity pool after very high resistance run up, very slow and painful run up to watch. But yet we are there. And yeah, now let's see, because it could maybe offer a reversal here that would land well with the lunch macro here. So that's the last thing that I'm watching for the morning session. If nothing presents itself, I'm pretty much done. Right, so Nasdaq is quite far away from its own high, respectively here. So we have some measure of SMT on the highs at this moment. Still kind of too early to read too much into it, right? So the Wednesday high was taken out here. So large pool of liquidity on the buy side was taken out. Nasdaq so far it's not matching. So if it were to turn around here, the sell side is very obvious, but so far nothing is in the cards saying that it's going to turn here. So there is this one more old high higher. Apparently that's where it could go, and it's relative equal with this one. It looks like that's where it's going actually. Okay, so I guess that's fair enough, but that is not offering anything more for the morning session in my mind. And yeah, a rough session for myself, to be honest, but yeah, it is what it is. So next time I'll do better. This will be it for today. It was a pleasure as always. Sometimes it's more rough, sometimes it's painful to watch session like this, but not stopping anytime soon. So thanks for watching. Have a pleasant reminder of the day, and see you guys tomorrow with more action, market action. Ciao.